Hello, welcome to My Life in Spain. My name's Mark, and today I want to talk a little bit about why my wife and I decided to move to Spain. So, roll back to 2008. We had the financial crisis that I think it affected everybody in the world. And where I worked, the job was going downhill. I'd really had enough. I'd been working in the same industry for 30 years and I'd really had enough of it. But I didn't know what I wanted to do with myself. Anyway, just kind of long story short, I think it's probably now 2009. My mother had moved to Spain from England. So I decided to go and visit her. It's probably late summer, early autumn. She lived in a town called Cocentaina, which is very close to where I live now, about 15 minutes in a car, by car. Anyway, so I'd never been to Spain before. I'd always pictured Spain as a package holiday destination, package vacations, you know, it's a budget place for budget tourists, I suppose. And of course, I knew a little bit about Spain's history and what have you, but my idea of Spain turned out to be Benidorm, if you like. But now I'm here, I realize it's completely different. It's nothing like that. So I flew from Philadelphia to Madrid on US Airways, it was called then. Now they're part of American. And I got a flight from Madrid to Alicante, which is about an hour, 45 minutes to an hour. Rented a car and drove to my mom's house. Now, this is the first time I've ever been in Spain. I've been in lots of other countries in Europe before, but never Spain. And almost immediately, I fell in love with the place. It was just perfect. The people were nice. The food was great. There was no stress. It felt very safe. So I thought I stayed for a week, and I just had such a great time. And I went back to the States, back to work, and all I could keep thinking of was Spain, that I wanted to come and live in Spain. So I talked about it with my wife, Ivana, and we decided that she should go to Spain and stay with my mother and have a look, see how she liked it. So we did that. Oh, she did that. She came back, she said she liked it fine. It's also, she's from Slovakia, so it's only a 2.5 hour flight from Alicante to Vienna or Bratislava. So she liked it for that reason, that she could be closer to her family. So we decided we were going to quit work. Now what I did, business was down because of the recession. And I knew that they had too many employees and were likely to want people to take leave, take a payoff and go. So I let it be known, hey, if you're going to get rid of anybody, I'll go, yeah. I've got something else I want to do, I'll leave. So then one day out of the blue, they came and said, okay, we'll pay you X amount for every year you worked here. Well, I said, okay, fine, jumped at it. So that was it. Walked out of that job. Never been to a casino since then. That's what I said. I worked in casinos for 30 years. I've never been to a casino since that day, and I intend to keep it that way. Casinos don't do any good for anybody. They just destroy people's lives. Anyway, okay, getting away from that for a little bit. So now, the same thing happened to my wife. They asked her if she wanted to leave, if she wanted to take a package. So she said yes. So now we're both out of work, and we're ready to go. So we pack up our house. I got a 40-foot shipping container, and I shipped all of our furniture and belongings. I'd already been back to Spain by now, and I'd got an apartment. I rented an unfurnished 3-bedroom, 2-bathroom apartment. Nice, pretty much a new build. And I was paying $450 a month for it. Or 400 or 450, I can't remember exactly. So all the furniture's packed. The car's already in Spain. I shipped the car from Newark to Antwerp on a roll-on, roll-off ferry. That was quite cheap. And then I drove down through Belgium and France to Spain. And I left the car in an underground parking spot here where I was living until I returned. So now the ship on its way, it was going from, I think, again, Newark to, this time to Valencia. So it was going to take, I forget how many weeks. So anyway, we were both in Spain now. And then the furniture comes, and we set up house. Now, because we were both still relatively young, we needed a job. We needed to do something. So, in my wisdom, I bought a bar. I thought that would be fun. I'll buy a bar. Not so fun actually. I'll do a separate video on why you should never buy a bar in Spain. Anyway, it worked. We made a living, and then one day I sold the bar, and I started a website about soccer. It was called Soccer Transfers. And it was doing quite well. I was getting lots of advertisers from like different bookmakers. And out of the blue, this guy in Australia contacted me and said, "Do you want to sell your website?" We agreed on a price and I sold it. And after that, I just did a bit of freelance writing. And then as soon as I turned 62, I got my Social Security. And that's where I am now. I'm not 62, I'm 66. But I'm getting my Social Security every month, and it's enough to live on. It's enough to live on if you own your own property. Now, we bought an apartment in Alcoy, where I live now, I'm going to say 5-6 years ago, maybe. We lived in Constantina for a while. No, more than 6 years, maybe 8 years ago. And it's paid off. So we don't have any mortgage or rent or anything to pay, and my Social Security is enough for both of us to live. And nowadays, I just enjoy life. I love living here in Spain. I love Spanish people. I love the food. I want to do a bit more traveling around because there's cities I haven't been to. I've been to Madrid, Barcelona, Seville, but there's other places I want to visit. I especially want to go up north to San Sebastian, Bilbao, that area. Picos of Europe I want to see. And no, life is good. Moving to Spain was the best thing I ever did. And I'll make a separate video on how I was able to move here legally, and how you can too, if that helps you. Because anybody can move here if they have proof of income, have enough money, and it's not that high. I think you need 2,400 euros a month as income, and you can get a non-lucrative visa and move here. Anyway, I'll talk about all that in another video. But Spain is great. Spain's a really, really wonderful place to live. The people are fantastic. We've got our fiesta coming up this weekend, Moors and Christians. It's a big deal in this city and in Spain. In fact, all of the Valencian community, each town has its own Moors and Christians festival, all different dates. Now, the one in Alcoy here, it commemorates a victory by the Christians over the Moors in 1276. The Moors were besieged in the city. I'll go for a walk in the weekend, and I'll show you what remains of the old city walls. And apparently, this legend goes that St. George appeared on a white horse above the city walls, and it roused the Christians in the town, and they defeated the Moors. So now every year they go through this big celebration. It's quite cool. You'll see it on the video anyway. All right, listen, guys. Thanks so much for watching. If you got any questions, put them in the comments. I'll be happy to answer them for you. Moving to Spain is the best thing I ever did. It's such a lovely place. I know I'm overhyping Spain, right? But it's worth overhyping because it is that good. Anyway, thanks so much for watching, and I'll catch you in my next video. Bye for now.